Last year, Lex and I found this badly burnt, beat up 2014 Harley Davidson Breakout on pickles. We wanted a project to work on together, something simple, a little bit of fun. Woo! But pretty quickly, our simple dream turned up a notch when we started working towards building the world's most powerful drift trike. There've been plenty of roadblocks. It's not been too cheap, and it's taken way longer than we anticipated. It worked. But 18 months later, and here we are. Finally, with everything we think we need to put our names in the Guinness Book of World Records. We hope.
This is the Tailbank Garage. It's here! It's finally here! The Trask Turbo kit for the Harley is finally here.
This is a bespoke kit from Nick Trask and his team in Phoenix. I reckon this is a tornado kit they were talking to us about. So this is normally made for an M8, and we've got the Screaming Eagle 110 over there, so they've made it specially for us. I can't wait to get this thing open. It's been so many months.
Yes!
Careful with scissors, bro. The world record we're trying to have a crack at is the world's most powerful drift trike. Now there's a few key attributes that a drift trike needs to have, like low center of gravity, maximum steering lock, go-kart style rear tyres, normally with a plastic sleeve on it to make sure it's nice and slippery, and so on. The actual record that Guinness have for the world's most powerful drift trike is 80 kilowatts. So we needed to beat that. Initially, we put the bike on the dyno without the turbo, and it had around 67 kilowatt, so still a little way to go to try and get that Guinness World Record. However, that's an extreme amount of power for a drift trike. Obviously, with a plastic sleeve, you don't normally need that much power to be able to spin the tyres. These fat bad boys with no sleeve have a lot of grip, so you actually do need a fair bit of power.
This is my box after this.
You can have all the cardboard.
Yes!
After spending a bit of time with Nick and the team over there and explaining to him what we're trying to achieve in getting a Guinness World Record, he decided to support us with one of his bespoke turbo kits. So we got together with Nick and his team, and also Garrett here in Australia, who then supplied us the actual turbo unit and the wastegate down here, sent it across to those guys, and they turned out this amazing piece of equipment.
Here it is! Ugh.
Wow, look at that. I can't wait to hear that thing whistle. You know what I can't find?
What?
Instructions. Oh, what is that? Instructions.
Look at that.
Man, this is just like Christmas. Well, Lex and I have got all the components off the Widowmaker, and we're ready to start installing the Trask Turbo kit. The instructions are nice and clear and simple. Hopefully to the point where Lex and I can understand them. What do you reckon?
Not sure yet.
Not sure just yet. But anyway, have a look at that. Chip reckons we're good to go. What do you reckon, Chip? Actually, he's a little concerned, but I reckon we can get this thing on in a matter of minutes after we spend 2 days on it. And then minutes. So first things first, with the turbo kit installation, we've got this beautiful billet Trask cam cover here. We're going to chuck that on the side, and here we go. First part about to happen. We got the plenum on. Look how cool that looks. Beautiful Trask plenum here. See through straight to the butterfly, so we can see when the old girl's on full pepper. That'd be a bit scary, wouldn't it, mate?
Yeah, it would be scary.
You bet. So turbo's going to sit here. Obviously we're going to have an outlet for the exhaust in the front cylinder, one at the back, and it's going to come down with the turbo sitting about here. Alrighty, so it's time to put on the turbo. Thanks to Garrett, have a look at this little beauty that we've got. Boys and girls at Trask have tuned it up, painted it black for us to suit the Widowmaker. So we've got that going on now, which feeds into an intercooler, and then the Trask plenum we looked at already, and then this beautiful little Garrett wastegate. Have a look at that thing. Can't wait to get this on there. So it's time to throw it on. Getting pretty close now.
So, as you know, we've spent a couple of hours of the day, maybe like 4 hours trying to put this together. So we've put it together. how this works is the engine sucks in air, which comes through here, goes down through there, up through the turbo, spins the air, sucks air in through here, goes in here, but then it's really compressed, and then from the butterfly, it'll open and release all the air.
And there we go. More power, you reckon?
100%.
100% more?
Yeah. This will be world record breaking power. No, like it's taken a lot of headaches, a lot of hard work. Yeah. We started with just that on there, and then we went from there to this to this. And then Dad broke something, and then we had to drive all the way to Dandenong to get it. And he'd come back, and then he had to take it all apart, and then build it up again to this.
Now the team at Trask have sent me a base map for this one. So we've actually got the T-box.
ECU.
There it is. Installed it in a roundabout sort of way. Like I say, they've sent me a base map, which is really cool. So we've chucked that in, got the computer hooked up, got Lex mount on the case, ready to turn it over a little bit, make sure it's got some oil around all the components that need oil, and then see if this thing starts for the first time with a turbo.
Let's go. So we've just spent like an hour trying to fix a fuel problem, which is fun, but we fixed it somehow.
And when you say we, what do you mean by that?
I mean Dad. I've been mucking around on the scooter.
Okay, do we think it'll start?
No. Positive and there's doubts.
I can hear the fuel pump. I bet you it'll start.
You think it'll start?
I think it'll start. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Set. Record attempts tomorrow morning. Gonna throw the old girl on the dyno tonight. And this is where it's at. Nothing goes smoothly in the Hellbent garage. I tell you what, battery doesn't keep charged, so I've rigged up an external one because I don't want to really pull the bike apart trying to fix the charge issue. I reckon we've got a fuel pump issue, so here's the fuel pump there. I'm gonna go get a new one of those just to make sure it's okay. Doesn't really start that well. Oh dear. Anyway, we'll soldier through it and try and work out what the issues are. After a quick visit to the boys at Harley Heaven Dandenong, we've got ourselves a brand new fuel pump here and a new fuel filter. So not forgetting this fuel pump's been in a decent shunt. So you can see how I tried to repair it where there's a broken bracket. Obviously some pickup from the fuel filter, the strainer, and a new fuel filter. So also remembering this fuel tank here is off that burnt Harley. So we sanded it back, had some help with Kyle, put some beautiful graphics on it, and it looks mint. However, inside it has got pretty hot, so there was some debris in there we tried to clean out. So I'm hoping this new fuel pump and a clean filter is going to help the old girl run a little bit smoother. Right, so the fuel pump seems to be working pretty well now. I've plugged the laptop in and found a little bit of an issue with the automatic compression release, ACRs, inside this engine. It's got so much compression that the starter motor and that battery size struggles to turn it over without a compression release. So I found in here that it's turned off. I've turned that on and it starts pretty easy now. So let's take a listen. Starts real easy. You can hear it turn over better at least. Well, there you go. Bit of a backfire to keep us awake, but it does turn over a lot better. We'll put it together, throw it in the truck, head to the dyno, strap it down. And do a couple of test runs this afternoon before the record attempt in the morning. Get the confidence up this arvo hopefully. Hopefully no issues and we'll be all set. Test run complete. Time to get the Widowmaker into Lex's go-kart trailer and head to the dyno and get her set up. Safely made it to Michael and the team at Quick Bits. Widowmaker strapped in. Do a little bit more work, put the rear guards over the tyres just from a safety point of view, and then see if she starts and give it a couple of initial runs to see if we're in the window for tomorrow. Well, there's a bit of noise here in the Quick Bits dyno, mostly the extraction fans at the moment, but we've ran the Widowmaker a couple of times. Just done a couple of initial tunes. The map's not quite where it needs to be. We're still below that record threshold, which is a little concerning, but we will get there. We're only running 6 pounds of boost at the moment. So we're going to give it a bit more of a tune-up. We've got Michael there in the background working away on the laptop now to make sure the tune's a little bit nicer. Once we do another couple of runs, we'll try and boost up to about 8 PSI and see what happens. So trying quite hard to get ready for tomorrow's record attempt, and good progress at the minute. So we've done a fair few runs on the dyno. Michael here's got it tuned up really nice now, so we're quite close to the record, but we're not making enough boost. We're about 6 PSI, I think.
Yeah,
so
we're going to try and get a couple more pounds so we can really get that record over the board, not just beat it by a few, we want to beat it by a decent amount, I reckon.
So if we go to a brown and go straight to 9,
Yeah.
might be scared at 9. So the boys at Trask say it should be right up to 8 pound before you need to start putting pistons and stuff in it.
Oh.
So do you think 1 more pound is okay?
Oh. You tell me.
Well, I don't know.
You can try the 7, but it's only 1 pound.
It's not going to go up much,
Nah,
is it?
nah. You're on the good fuel.
We'll just put in a 9 in.
Let's do 9, mate. Let's
Okay.
do 9.
Well, that's the day before the record attempt now complete. We actually started with a little bit less power initially than what we had before we installed the turbo because the map wasn't quite right. So Michael's worked quite hard on it to get it up to where it needed to be. It tuned it for most of the afternoon, doing dyno run after dyno run, and then we've put a bigger spring in the Garrett wastegate. So it was at 7 PSI, 6 PSI in fact. We're going to go to 8, but we didn't have an 8 spring, so we've gone to 9. The boys at Trask said don't go over 8 PSI with standard pistons, so of course we went above that to 9. And it's looking pretty good, to be honest. We have to get above the threshold of 80 kilowatt to get the Guinness World Record for the most powerful drift trike in the world. We're currently at 91.4, so we're...
That's 50% power increase almost, eh?
50% power increase,
Yeah,
Michael
close
says.
to, close to.
We're pretty happy with that. So if it holds together tomorrow when we have all the witnesses here and everyone's set, we should have a new Guinness World Record. So we're going to go over it a little bit now, make sure everything's tight, no major issues with things like the chain or the bead locks coming undone, retension the wheels, just check the chain tension, just a few bits and pieces like that, and have a good sleep, come back tomorrow morning and have a crack at a Guinness World Record.
So we're at the dyno, about to get this thing fueled up. As you can see, Rick's just getting the plug for the fuel drum. He actually beat it yesterday by 1.74 kilowatts, but there was no on supervision, so it doesn't count. So we're just gonna do it again today and hope for the best. He's just fueling it up now. I've never seen fuel that color. Got the good stuff.
She's expensive. You don't want to fill your car with this.
This is like nitro fuel, and it absolutely reeks, like properly stinks. I'm not very glad that he's using this, but it works. How many kilowatts do you reckon we could squeeze out of the fuel?
Couple more.
Now she's all filled up, and we're just gonna wait for the main chief to get here.
I think we can do it, mate.
Yeah, we can 100% do it.
You're going to ride it. Here's some headphones. See you later.
He's crazy.
The morning of the record, I tell you what, I was pretty nervous. I quite like working in the shed here. There's no one watching. We can just get into it. If something goes wrong, it only really affects me. But in order to get the Guinness World Record, there's a lot of things we have to have done. Firstly, we had to make sure that they approved the dyno that we're running on. The dyno had to have a calibration in the last 12 months, so we got that done recently. We also have to have a professional running the dyno, which we had, Michael at Quick Bits. Then we needed a couple of witnesses to make sure that everything we did was absolutely in line with the guidelines, and had to have witness statements and everything signed by a couple of professionals within the industry. So we had Nathan from Dyno Dynamics there as one of the witnesses, and we also had Paul from Peter Stevens and Harley Heaven as one of the other witnesses. Obviously a lot of experience between those two guys in Harley Davidson's, motorcycles, and the dyno industry as well. So we actually had a fair few people standing there, which made me a little bit anxious. What if something went wrong? What if we couldn't get the thing started? What if we didn't get the record? So we're just putting these truck guards over the little wheels. The little wheels on this thing, obviously ideal for drifting, but not used to having this amount of horsepower put through them. So just from a safety point of view, we don't want any of the little beadlock nuts coming off, wheel nuts, or of course the wheel departing the scene and flying through the roller door. So just setting these covers on just as a added bit of protection. It actually took us 28 runs on the dyno to get from what was a 67 kilowatt initially after the turbo installation all the way up to 96.4 kilowatts. So a fair bit of work. One other thing we also had to do as well is increase the boost of the turbo and the intake pressure that we had. So initially we had 6 PSI, which is basically controlled by a spring in the wastegate down here. We took that apart and put a significantly heavier spring in, pushed it straight up to 9 PSI. What that did on the dyno is took us from about 80 kilowatt all the way up to 94, so massive increase. Pretty cool feeling to actually see that number on the screen and realise that we have gone above that Guinness World Record threshold of 80 kilowatt. After a year's work, or actually 18 months work, all the heartache we went through building this thing, it's a pretty special feeling. One of the biggest things for me was seeing the look on Lex's face when that number hit 80 plus on the screen, knowing that we might have got a Guinness World Record. He's been in the shed helping me sort bolts, clean things up, paint things, bolt this whole thing together. So to have him a part of that is pretty damn cool.
Is the record 90? You beat it. Yes. Good.
Well, there you go. It's an unverified Guinness World Record at this point. We'll send all the data into Guinness. That's 96.4 kilowatt. The previous world record for the most powerful drift trike in the world was 80. So I reckon we smashed it.
We absolutely smashed it.
And we've received confirmation from Guinness World Records that the record was certified on December 29th, 2023.
Thanks for watching. See you next time at the Hellbank Garage.